You are sitting in the car park outside the Tesco on 9 Elms Lane. It is 7:41 on a Monday morning. Your phone shows a pay slip notification you haven't opened yet. You already know the number. You've known it for 3 days. You sit there for a full minute before you open the app. The engine's still running, and you don't feel anything close to what you thought you'd feel. Level 1, £34,000. At this level, money is a countdown that resets every 4 weeks. You know exactly what day the rent leaves your account. You know exactly what day is safe to buy a coffee that isn't instant. You split a flat in Croydon with a man named Deepak who works in insurance and always pays his half of the broadband 2 days late. You eat a £3.40 meal deal from the Sainsbury's near the station and eat it at your desk with one hand still on the keyboard. Your manager, a woman named Carol, tells you your work is really solid in your review and gives you a 2% rise. You nod. You say thank you. You start doing a private kind of maths in your head at the till. Not out loud. Just a glance at the total before the card even taps. The first rule, at this level, you are not struggling. You are managing. There's a difference, and nobody explains it to you. Level 2, £52,000, 29 years old. You've stopped checking your balance before you check the weather. Small thing. Nobody notices it but you. You move into a one-bed in Walthamstow on your own, and the estate agent, a man named Ollie in a slightly too big suit, stops treating the viewing like a formality and starts treating it like a sale. Your sister asks to borrow £200 for a car repair, and you transfer it before she's finished the sentence. No math, no glance at the app first. At work, they put you on the client call, not to take notes this time, to speak. You notice the version of you from 2 years ago would have said no to the one bed. Too much. Too risky. This version doesn't blink. The second rule, this level isn't comfort. It's the first time a number stops making decisions for you. Level 3, £91,000, a promotion in March. The title changes before the money fully lands, and for a few weeks, people treat the title like it's already the number. A colleague named Priya, who never used to sit near you at lunch, starts asking what you think about the reshuffle before she's told anyone else her opinion. Your dad, on the phone on a Sunday, asks how work's going before he asks anything else, which he never used to do. At the gym, a man you vaguely recognize from the building says hello using your name, and you can't remember ever telling him. Something shifts that has nothing to do with salary itself. People start finishing your sentences with agreement instead of questions. The third rule, this level is not about what you can afford. It's about who starts asking your opinion before you've offered it. Level 4, £140,000, a mortgage approved on a Tuesday. The broker, a man named Frank, who answers his phone on the first ring now, used to take 2 days to call back. Not anymore. At the mortgage advisor's office, the woman doesn't ask if you can afford the flat. She asks which one you prefer. Your old university flatmate messages you out of nowhere, warm, easy, asking if you fancy a ketchup pint, and you already half know what he's going to ask for by the second round. A cousin asks gently, almost apologetically, if you'd ever consider being a guarantor. You notice waiters make eye contact a beat longer. You notice the tailor on Marylebone High Street remembers your name after one visit. Nobody says any of it out loud. Nobody has to. The fourth rule, strangers start extending trust to you before you've done anything in the room to earn it. That trust was never about you. It was about the flat. Level 5, £198,000, 34 years old. You're not rich. You know that. But you've stopped correcting people who assume you are. At a dinner in Fitzrovia, a man named Jordan, who works in private equity and mentions it within 4 minutes, asks what you do for work, like it's a phase you might grow out of. An old colleague you haven't spoken to in 2 years messages you, congratulating you on something she saw on LinkedIn. You don't ask what for. You already know. A wealth manager calls you back within the hour. A second one sends a handwritten note. You notice who goes quiet when money comes up at the table and who leans forward. The fifth rule, at this level, people stop being curious about who you are and start being curious about what you might open for them. Level 6, £250,000. Nobody at the table asks what your rent is anymore. Nobody asks it anywhere ever again, and you don't notice the silence until you look back on it. A man in a blazer at a fundraiser spends 9 minutes talking to you before he asks your surname. Your accountant, a woman named Patricia, stops billing you by the hour and starts billing you like a relationship. Old friends split into 2 piles without you sorting them. The ones who still ask how you're sleeping and the ones who only ask how work's going. You stop being a person at some table. You start being a resource. Something shrinks inside you that has nothing to do with the number. The sixth rule, the salary doesn't make people love you more. It makes them love you louder. Level 7, £250,000. 1 year in. You tell almost no one the actual number. This is the part nobody prepares you for. The silence around it becomes its own kind kind of wait. At a wedding, a stranger recognizes your surname before he recognizes your face. Your old flatmate Deepak from the Croydon days texts you for the first time in 3 years, casual, warm, and asks about getting in on something before he asks how you've been. A planner tells you, gently, the goal now isn't more protection. You start speaking less in rooms full of money. You watch more. You clock who performs humility and who actually has it. You stop being a person on someone's screen and start being a flag.